It's not just the person you miss, it's also the routine you built around them. The good morning texts, the coffee trips, the songs you used to listen to, the gym sessions. And if you don't break those routines, those patterns, those rituals, you will remain stuck in that cycle of heartbreak, in that emotional state where you once felt them. Because although that person's gone, you still carry some form, whether it's thought patterns or routines that you still carry, and you may not even recognize it. Remember that you don't have to change the world. Just don't leave it the same. So live fully, love deeply, and laugh hard. So today I'm here to set you free. That's what today's about. And first and foremost, I want to talk about why routines matter and how powerful they really are, a lot more powerful than we realize. As human beings, we are habitual creatures. Habits are our foundation. And by habits, I mean our patterns, our thought patterns. We have habits there, right? Our routine as to what we do on a day-to-day, brushing our teeth before we go to sleep, first thing in the morning, making a cup of coffee, going for a walk, our gym sessions, reading the book, going to church weekly. The routines, the patterns, they're there if you take a moment and take a step back. And when you were with that person, your routine, you had a we pattern, a we routine. Routines become anchors of stability as human beings. They're part of our identity as well as where we plan on taking our future or where we plan on traveling. So with that person, you were establishing routines in hopes of building a beautiful future, a happily ever after, so to speak. Just so you know, your happily ever after is still there. It's written in stone. You're going to travel to that. It just might not be with them. And that's okay. Oftentimes we grieve a future that we don't get to travel to, but we have to remind ourselves we're still traveling to that future, just not with that companion. I know somebody needed to hear this. Matter of fact, take a moment if you made it this far, about a little over 2 minutes into this video. Comment down below and I needed to hear this. It doesn't matter if you're on day 1 of detox, no contact, or if you're on day 30, 40, 300 and something. I've seen people comment. A lady said that she was 353, which is amazing, right? But I want to get you to a point where you're no longer counting, where you are no longer counting. So there's that. And after the breakup occurs, your brain keeps tugging on those same routines, even though that person's long gone. Your brain keeps trying to travel back in time to send you back to those routines, to send you back into a moment in time that you might have been happy or happier. And oftentimes when our heart is broken, when the season's tough, we end up being in this state of mind where we subconsciously tell ourselves that yesterday is better than today and a lot brighter than tomorrow. We end up putting the past on a pedestal. So it's natural for our mind to try to take us back to older routines and habits, listening to the songs, going on their profile, looking at old pictures and text, trying to just essentially resuscitate something that's already gone and dead, long gone. So I want to give you an example, right? The person's gone, but the routines are still there. You wake up and you instantly check your phone because you're used to getting the good morning text or sending it. You still are in that routine or habit or pattern of checking your phone, right? Driving the same path to their house or past their house. Those routines, those patterns. Listening to your song or both of your songs, right? Our song every night or once in a blue moon, right? Sitting in the same corner of the coffee shop you always sat when you both were there together. There's a therapeutic sense to that. If you go there to rewrite a version of a past, to reclaim it as part of your future, I encourage that. But when it turns into a pattern where you are constantly kind of sitting there as a form of comfort, reminiscing towards good times, memories, things of that nature, that's when it can become hurtful and harmful to your healing journey and your path. Because I've gone to old places to rewrite it, but I don't constantly go back because that's a moment in time that I want to reclaim, but I don't want to relive. Hopefully that makes sense. And in cognitive behavioral therapy, habits are powerful because they're automatic, right? But the same brain, right, that creates old rituals can also create new ones, right? The automatic ones you can shift and break the cycle and establish new patterns. The goal isn't to eliminate the old routines. The goal is to replace them. I saw a comment actually in earlier series. Someone commented saying in terms of the day 2, the dopamine hits, right? We miss the dopamine. We don't miss the person. It's not love. It's actually withdrawal. The person says, how do I stop the dopamine? And I responded to that comment. I said, you don't stop it. You replace it. Ooh. Same thing with the routines. You don't stop the routines. You replace it. You pivot. And I love using the term pivot. I want you to enter a pivoting season. You have the desire to do something, shift and do something else that's choosing you. You have the desire to check their social media. How about you journal? You have the desire to reach out and send a message. Write that message down and find a closure way that you can extinguish it. Whether you flush it down the toilet, you burn it, you send it away, you throw it out, you rip it up. Something that gives you your own peace without needing anybody else. They don't have to receive anything from you, a message or a letter or energy. They don't get that from you. Give that to yourself. Right? The goal isn't to eliminate these routines. The goal is to replace them so that it starts serving you in a healing manner. Hopefully that makes sense. And I want you to take some of these practice steps. Do like a routine audit. I want you to write down every daily routine or weekly routine that involved them at one point, whether it's checking their Instagram to see if they post, checking their stories, looking at old text messages, whatever it may be, going to places where you think you might run into them. Those little routines, I want you to start paying attention and being more aware of where they show up in your thought patterns, in your behavior, in your actions. Write them down, and I want you to then interrupt it. Don't just stop, but replace. Find something else that can take its place that's going to better serve you. So instead of a good morning text, maybe you send yourself a gratitude text, or you journal yourself affirmations and a gratitude message, writing down 3 things that you're grateful for on a daily basis. That's a perfect pivoting replacement action that serves you and nobody else. You're choosing yourself in those moments where you might feel weak or you might struggle to do that. And instead of, listening to our playlists, because I've been that guy creating a playlist for the person that I was with, and memories and things of that nature, I did one of 2 things. I've had seasons where I delete the playlist and I create a brand new one for myself, like a gym playlist or motivation or healing playlist, or I just rename it and I reclaim that playlist for myself. So it's something to think about. Look at it from that perspective, right? Instead of driving by their street, hopefully you don't do that, but if you do, people have, right? Change your route. Take a more scenic route, right? Use that driving time to listen to a podcast instead of the favorite song or whatever it may be, right? I want you to anchor yourself in new routines and start to repeat them consistently so that your brain associates these new routines with healing and healing through that. Think of it like swapping poison for medicine. Swapping something that's hurting you to switching it to something that's helping you, right? It's the same action, just a different component. In Ephesians 4, verse 22 to 24, it says, "You were taught with regards to your former way of life to put off your old self, which is being corrupted by its deceitful desires." Sounds familiar, right? "To be made new in the attitude of your minds, and to put on the new self, created to be like God in true righteousness and holiness." So this verse basically talks about how the old rituals, which it talks about your former ways, right, tied to your desires, they keep you tied to the old relationship, to an older version of you. And renewing your mind is breaking free of those old routines and replacing them with something new. It's not just stopping, but it's swapping. Oh, poison for medicine, just like I just said. Putting on your new self is building new routines that reflect healing, growth, and purpose. Clients tell me this all the time. All right, so what do I do next? I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to give you a blueprint as to what I apply to myself to better make decisions moving forward. Every decision you make is a vote towards the person you want to become. So step one is, who do you want to become? A happier, more peaceful, more grounded, more joyful version of yourself? Awesome. Now, every decision you make should reflect on that person you desire to become, right? Because every decision you make is a vote towards that person. You don't have to be perfect, because just like any voting system, any democracy, you only need 51% of the votes to achieve your desired outcome. That's beautiful. That's to remind you that you don't have to be hard on yourself. You don't have to be perfect. Some days you just survive, and that alone, surviving, is 51% in my book. Watching this video, you're a student. You're in the high 90s just by being here and watching these videos. Are you journaling on the side? Are you taking notes? Are you journaling on your free time early in the morning, late at night, or just reflecting on your mind when I ask these deeper questions? That's a vote towards yourself. Focus on your actions for yourself in the next 5 minutes, next 10 minutes, next minute. Don't focus on what you're going to do tomorrow, next week, or in a few hours. I want you to focus on these small, minute decisions for yourself in these next couple of minutes. For example, I might be talking on somebody right now. Join the healing community. The link is in the description. There's a 7-day free trial. That alone is a vote towards you. Nobody benefits off of the free 7 days and being in that community and checking it out and seeing what it's about. If it's for you, awesome. If it's not, cancel it and you don't lose out. You have nothing to lose. But I share that with you to remind you that these small decisions you make are crucial, because small events and small decisions happen every day, all the time. Every 5 minutes, every minute, you make smaller decisions voting for yourself. Those big decisions, those big instances, those big crash out moments, they don't happen often, but you prepare yourself for those moments by choosing those decisions you make in those smaller moments. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Those minute decisions you make, keep choosing yourself, will ground yourself and give you a stronger foundation when those bigger chaotic moments occur, where maybe you're scrolling and you come across the fact that they're dating someone new so soon and it hurts. Now you can pivot towards whether it's the healing community or towards one of these videos, or towards reaching out to a friend, or journaling and grounding yourself, praying, going to a Bible. There's so many different resources that you can pivot to ground yourself. And it all starts becoming created in these smaller habits you establish, so that it becomes an automatic response, not a last resort. You don't crash out and fumble and create all this chaos until you eventually go to a therapeutic way of healing yourself. You establish these therapeutic patterns so that when you do crash out, it's your first response, not your last resort, like God should be. Does that make sense? I think it does. So, that being said, the journal prompt for today is, what routine have I been holding on to that keeps me connected to them? So the question is, what routine have I been holding on to that keeps me connected to them? And what new routine can I create to connect back to myself? That's a nice, beautiful, therapeutic journal response. You don't need to erase the memory to heal. Healing is not about forgetting what happened. It's about remembering, but with a new perspective. But you do need to stop feeding the routines that keep you stuck in the same pattern, in the same position, which is in the past. Because every time you replace the old patterns with new ones, you actually end up reclaiming your peace, piece by piece. Ooh, ironic, right? Pieces to peace. That's the name of the healing community. But keep going, because you are rebuilding one moment at a time. This video is a declaration of you choosing yourself. Again, comment down below. Say, I needed to hear this. Share your favorite part or point, or maybe even write down below what routine you feel as though has kept you stuck that you're ready to replace. And if you want more accountability, more structure, more guidance, someone to hold your hand through the process, or a safe space to kind of just go to on a weekly basis in these group Zoom calls, check out the healing community. It's a 7-day free trial. Link is in the description. I strongly recommend it. But regardless of what you choose to do, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. And remember this, you don't have to change the world. Just don't leave it the same. love hard, feel deeply, laugh a lot, and leave people better than how you found them. And I strongly recommend you starting with yourself. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Until next time, until tomorrow, peace from Dees.